that is a strategy which is about test, trace and isolate. And, you know, some of us feel like a broken record on this because the issue hasn't been addressed by government in the kind of scale that is required in order for us to be successful in beating this crisis, and in order for us to be successful in actually being able to progress through the roadmap that has been set out. And there remains major question marks over our ability to do either of those things.
Just in terms of our strategy, our strategy is to have the capacity to test 100,000 people per week, and to do so with a rapid turnaround, and to do so with rapid and aggressive tracing there following. And that's not contrary to the medical advice or the advice of the CMO, as the Deputy contends. The reason why the testing centres have been underutilised in the last couple of weeks is because of the clinical criteria for testing. And now that those have been relaxed by NPHET and the CMO, I expect we're going to see them being used much more than they were previously. The decision on the criteria for testing is entirely a decision for the CMO and for NPHET, and I think he's best to answer that question. Not a government decision at all in any way.
Successful strategies. For example, New Zealand, Iceland, where they clamped down completely on traffic in and out of the country. We actually did the opposite, and we made very serious mistakes in relation to allowing travel from particularly dangerous areas to continue unabated. And to a large extent, you know, we're still allowing that to happen. Movement of people back and forth. And we saw that Aer Lingus Flight there on the news bulletin yesterday, a flight where there was no social distancing respected at all. Is this continuing? How many people are coming into this country in those kind of circumstances? Where are they coming from? And we know the very kind of weak arrangements that have been put in place at our airports in terms of handing out a leaflet and now asking people to give details and their phone number. The people just are not cooperating with that.
In terms of the 3-week interval, the World Health Organization recommends 2. The ECDC recommends 4. The incubation period is between 5 and 11 days, and that's why 3 weeks has been chosen. In relation to New Zealand, I think it's important to say that we have now tested more people per head than New Zealand, considerably more. And I don't think New Zealand's comparable. It's in the southern hemisphere. We're in Western Europe, which is the epicentre of the virus. New Zealand is 3.5 hours flight from Australia, which is even less affected than them. They've even fewer cases per head. We share a land border with the United Kingdom and a common travel area with the United Kingdom, and we're part of the European Union. And the flight the Deputy mentioned is a perfect example of how we're different. That was a flight between London and Belfast. It was a flight within the United Kingdom, a flight that we'd no control over. And the only way we could have stopped people travelling from that flight to this jurisdiction would be to seal the land border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. We were certainly not going to do that.
Sure. Now we go to solidarity.